that's a good thing to try to figure out.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. If you all stand with me, the mayor's going to lead us in a prayer and a pledge.
Please bow with me. Lord, thank you once again for the wonderful city that we live in. Thank you for this cool weather that we have, and you can take it back whenever you want. We appreciate all that you do for us. We thank you for giving us the staff that we have to keep our city running smoothly. And we ask that you watch over our first responders and guide us through this holiday season as we come and we realize what the real meaning of this season is. We ask that you watch over all of us and give us guiding hands and help the council make sound and right decisions. We ask that all we do in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call the roll, please.
Mayor Shute.
Here.
Carlisle.
Here.
Haley.
Here.
Mendel.
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Bishop.
Here. Next up, if anyone from the audience has something that they would like to discuss that is not on the agenda, you can fill out a form with Clerk Haley. She will get it to me and we will get to you later in the meeting. Mayor's report.
I got a lot going on. Last couple weeks since the last meeting, we had a grand opening of a new business, Sticks and Smokes downtown. If you like cigars, you can go smoke. So, Terry, that's for you. We're able to attend the Flash Stars Thanksgiving. They had a little dinner. Bernetta had put on a little dinner for the kids and the parents and that stuff. They had a good attendance. Had the Gobble Wobble was a success. Thanks to Don and to Neil for you guys putting that thing together. And I think it's probably going to be an annual event now, the way it looks. So it was good. Was able to go and be part of the community Thanksgiving celebration at the First Presbyterian Church, and like to thank Cecil Hess for resurrecting that and the Presbyterian Church. They brought that back. So it's a neat little event where all the pastors throughout the community get together and just have a little Thanksgiving prayer and celebration. And of course, if you haven't noticed, our circle is lit up again. So they did, the guys did a wonderful job. The Spiegels and Jeremy Daughtry really stepped it up this year and added some lights. And it was really kind of exciting to see Santa Claus come and all the people down there. I think all the council members were down there and had a good thing. Coming up, this dedication on the 6th at the Boys and Girls Club of the Boulder, which is a big rock that'll have a sign to the Boys and Girls Club, but they're going to dedicate that on the 6th, I believe at 9 or 10 a.m. We have the Christmas parade coming up Friday night, so you all come out and see the Christmas parade. And then, of course, we're going to hear more about the Medal of Honor Park celebration coming up, and looking forward to having that finally dedicated and open to the public. You guys have been doing a good job, so I appreciate Mike when you come up and tell us. And last thing I have is many of you knew Jim Pollard, who is our historian, and at the Sebring Historical. Jim passed away yesterday. Had some physical issues that kind of spiraled out of control, and the Lord took him to a higher place. So, but he was a good guy, and we're going to truly miss him. So a little cantankerous at times, but that was a good thing. It was kind of fun. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Carlisle. No report. Ms. Mendel.
Good evening. Several months ago, the city council voted to remove the fluoride from the city water system. And there were I'd done some research on it, and a lot of people felt like it was a good thing to have fluoride. The dentist thought it was a good thing to have fluoride. And then our utilities department, Bobby Bogus, felt like it does damage to our system. But anyway, the bottom line is we did vote to take the fluoride out of the city water supply. And just in the last few days, the Florida Surgeon General came out and advised that we remove fluoride in cities that still had it. He felt like it was not a good thing, especially for pregnant women and really young children. So there's a lot of division on opinion about that. But anyway, we did take the fluoride out and feel like we had a lot of support from the Florida Surgeon General. So that Then Sunday, my husband and I and others went to Temple Israel for a wonderful program on Golda Meir, and that was amazing. And our Jewish population has always been kind of small here in Sebring when they were starting out, but as a person who grew up here, I remember how much beloved the Khan family and all of the businesses they had here. And I really feel badly that in our country there is a lot of hatred towards Jewish people. I don't feel like we have that here, and I'm so very grateful. But we have a small but wonderful Jewish community. We have a Heartland American Israeli Initiative that meets once a month here, that's very wonderful in support of our Jewish folks in our community. And Jim Pollard, very sad, had open heart surgery last week and was not able to survive it. And he was a very interesting character, and he was a wealth of knowledge about Sebring and Highlands County, and he will be very missed.
Thank you. You had something else to add?
Yes, I did. I've got one other thing, and I think most of you, if you read the paper, saw our 5 pages of wonderful ads that we ran in Greek. And if you look on Facebook or my phone, and you'll see a lot of information or inquiries on what was going on. And that's all part, just to let y'all know, that is part of a grant process that we have. We actually have CDBG mitigation projects that was a grant working through Fred Fox Enterprises. Part of the requirement is you have to publish in certain languages depending on a certain percent of population. So we had English, Greek, and Spanish. We have over $8 million in grant funding coming from that, and got a little criticism on it because people thought we were pulling something over the wool over their eyes, but it's all part of a grant process that we have. So we're going to keep publishing in Greek and Spanish and English, especially if they give us $8 million at a clip. So, and that is to be used for, actually, we have sewer line replacement, water line replacement, hardening of a lot of our buildings like the fire department, the police department. It's, making them safer and also accessible, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And some other stuff that it is. So it's going to improve our infrastructure is what it's going to do. So
All right.
just wanted to kind of clarify that.
Thank you. Josh?
Just want to echo what the mayor said about the lights on the circle. My wife and I took our son Saturday night, and it was awesome. Mr. Spiegel's done a great job down there. It looks fantastic. And just a quick announcement, the Rotary Club of Sebring is doing a mini service project this Friday on the circle with the Salvation Army. It's called the Circle of Cans. It's a canned food drive, and also a bunch of members of the club will be out ringing the bell all morning. So if you got some spare change or dollars, drive by the circle Friday and help them out.
So when will that be, the Circle of Cans? Or what?
Friday morning. This Friday.
Morning.
Yep.
7 to 2.
There you go. That's it.
Okay. Harrison?
Some RPAC news. Jared and I went to that meeting 2 weeks ago. County is shifting the way that they're running some of these committees. So RPAC is one of the first ones that they're kind of restructuring. So at this point, we're kind of on hold to figure out how the county is going to restructure RPAC and what that looks like to get grants and funding. So Jared spent a lot of time getting a presentation ready, getting some numbers of what we wanted to propose to them. But the short of it right now is it's looking like they're going to just have a different structure and different appointees with RPAC. I don't know who's going to represent us, and they're going to potentially limit it to 2 open applications at a time with a $75,000 cap. So we're kind of in limbo until the county decides how they're going to move forward with RPAC. So with the 3 projects that we talked about during budget and planning, it's kind of on hold until we get more clarification.
Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I second it.
Hold the board, please.
Hold on.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes. All right. Mr. Borders, come and leave us in awe.
Well, if you've been, is this on? If you've been down to the site, you've probably been awestruck by the beauty of what we've accomplished down there. You're looking at about $1 million. That's when you look at that site. And that does include the value of the property, which you kindly donated to us for $10. Which Mr. Mayor gave me $10 back, so we were even on that one. But we are ready for our dedication ceremony, which will take place next Thursday at 10 a.m. That's the 12th of December. All the support paperwork for the city, for the support from the police, fire, EMS, and so forth is in, as is the one-day rider with the insurance. I sent that to Scott some time ago. Reminder that we have 24 Floridians who received the Medal of Honor, and of those 24, 18 were killed in the action that led to them receiving it or died soon thereafter of the wounds from that action. Of the 6 that survived over the remaining years, there's only one living recipient. He will be there for the ceremony. He's one of only 60 living recipients in the United States, so his name is Robert Ingram. If you have too much spare time between midnight and 4, go on YouTube, and there's an 8-minute video you can watch where he tells his story. He was wounded 4 times that day and knew he was going to die, but he didn't. Paperwork lost, as is very common in the military. I know from personal experience. But so he was finally awarded the medal when President Clinton was in office. We will have a flyover of vintage aircraft at the beginning of the ceremony. We will have pretty ladies singing the national anthem and other patriotic songs. We'll have a color guard from VFW Post 4300. We'll have the high school band. We're going to have parking down at Fireman's Field and also at the lot on Eucalyptus, 2 blocks or a block and a half south of the site. We will have light refreshments and drinks and so forth at the conclusion of the ceremony, which will include a ribbon cutting and a cake cutting. And then we do have to abide by the capacity that's been established on the plans as far as how many people can be inside, so we'll just ask people to be patient. We can't get everybody in there. We're expecting a very big crowd, but our maximum capacity, as I recall, Chief, is 62, so we're going to probably try to keep it to about 50, just to keep the noise level down in there as we move through the ceremony. We cannot say enough about the support that we have gotten from the community. Now, I like to call Sebring Mayberry. Somebody got mad at me once for saying that, coming from Washington, D.C. That is a good thing. That is a compliment. Of that roughly $1 million that we've spent down there, we've got over $500,000 of in-kind support. So we wouldn't have made it across the finish line without things like a free roof and free flooring and free concrete and a free fence. Scott hooked us up with those folks and all kinds of other free stuff, stuff from $100 up to the biggest one that was $68,000 donated materials and or services. So great community support. Of course, I appreciate the support from the city and the county as well, CRA. So we're looking forward to a great ceremony. Everybody's invited. I would get there early because I think we're going to have a capacity crowd. We think we're going to have about 300 chairs out. So depends on how they fit. They'll be delivered on Thursday at 1 o'clock, and we'll find out when we set them up. So I'll entertain any questions.
Talk about the Girl Scout house and how Girl Scout house and how it.
Yeah, so even as recently as about 10 days ago, I had someone make a comment about losing the Girl Scout cabin. And so if you go on the sheriff's side of the building, not the commerce side of the building, you're looking at the Girl Scout house. It's the same front as the old Girl Scout cabin. We have the alternating block not to somewhat look like the county government building, but to kind of look like a log cabin. The floor from the main gallery room in the old Girl Scout cabin is our ceiling in our main gallery room. Even though we technically don't face Eucalyptus, South Eucalyptus, we face some other little street up there. Gator Howerton was on our board at the time, and they assigned addresses out of that office when he was county engineer, and he kept the 442 South Eucalyptus address for us. So that's the number we have on the front. All of those to pay homage to the Girl Scouts as a tip of the hat back to them. And finally, we had given to the Historical Society the old brass plate that was on the front of the cabin dedicated to Sophie Mae Mitchell Sr. And we recovered that from them on a 99-year loan, memo and file. But we're going to place that out on a pedestal out front on the entry sidewalk. I do want to thank also Greg Griffin, there he is, for the support on the various inspections through the course. He has given us a TCO. Two remaining things are a survey, final survey, which started today, and a parking spot painting for the handicap. We're going to redo the entire parking lot with new black and new lines for all of those parking places. That'll happen this weekend. So, any questions?
No
I think
questions.
we're just so excited about this. It's just an amazing project, and God's really blessed it, from sending the tortoises to drive you out of the unfavorable spot
Yes.
down to such a good location.
Well, at the beginning, a couple of things happened, and I called it serendipity, but it kept happening. Too much kept happening, and we call it, amongst our board, we call it the memorial that God built.
Praise God.
There's too many things happened that couldn't just be serendipity. It had to have God's hand in those things.
All right.
We believe that.
Well, thank you, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is item 10B. We have public hearing number 1534. I will hand it off to Mr. Swain.
Ordinance number 1534 is entitled an applicant-initiated amendment to the zoning map specifically changing the zoning designation for a 0.17 acre parcel at 160 South Commerce Avenue, listing its strap number from Commercial District C1 to Mixed Use Quality Development, MUQD, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Good evening. For the record, Marissa Barbie with the Central Florida Regional Planning Council. As stated, this is an applicant-initiated request for a rezoning of the property located at 160 South Commerce Avenue. The request was properly advertised and the property is noticed, and surrounding property owner letters did go out. So this is where you can see the location. That's Commerce Avenue and Mango Street. It's the intersection there. It is 0.17 acres in size. Next slide. This is off of Google Maps from May of this year. This is the front of the building. Next slide. On Mango Street, looking at the side of the building. And this is the rear of the building, and this parking lot is part of that property, of the parcel it's owned by them. Next slide. This is looking just to see what the neighborhood behind this structure looks like. Next slide. So the site includes an 1,800 square foot building that, when I Googled it, it came up as a former attorney's office, so it's had some commercial uses in it. The applicant would like to be able to live in it and operate a business in it. They can't do that under C1, so this is the request. The future land use does support that mix. Next slide. This was the illustration of how they plan to utilize the inside of the structure to change it from that commercial type use into the mix of what it will be. This is in your application package. There are no proposed external improvements expansions to the building. Next slide. The future land use for this property and everything around it is downtown mixed use, which, as it sounds, allows for a mixture of residential and commercial uses. Slide. The existing zoning is C1, as are all the properties across the street from it and adjacent to it. You can see the properties behind it are R3, which there are residential uses in that area. Next slide. This is what your zoning map would look like if this change does go through. It would assign this property mixed-use quality development. And mixed-use quality development allows all the residential uses that are allowed in the R3 zoning district, and then goes into talking about the different types of non-residential types of uses that could be used in there, which are compatible with what the C1 zoning district has allowed. Next slide. The parcel is developed. As I mentioned, the surrounding property is commercial along Commerce Avenue. There is multifamily and single-family parcels in that area on Mango Street behind it. Public facilities and service analysis, there are no anticipated impacts by this change of zoning, as the structure is already built and connected to utilities and providing all of those services that are there. The proposed request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and it is consistent with the surrounding properties in that area. This is, again, just to remind you what your proposed zoning map amendment would look like. Next, Planning and Zoning Board will consider this item at their meeting next week. And I do have motion options there. I'm happy to stand for any questions you have, and the applicants are here as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The purpose of the public hearing is to get questions and comments from the public. Does anybody have any questions or comments? No. I will close the public hearing and open it up to council. Does anybody have any questions?
Do we know what kind of business it is?
Mr. Business Owner?
Trevor Murphy for the record. I'll be conducting citrus out of there.
Oh,
in
okay.
addition to real estate.
It's a packing house. Is that what you're gonna have?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's about 5 years.
I just hope you have something to pack.
Which
Yeah,
is-
All
It
right,
was just a curious question.
I'm all for it. It just promotes keeping more people downtown, in my opinion.
I agree. I just was curious
Yeah.
what kind of business.
So if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 1534 as presented on first reading and schedule second and final reading for December 17th, 2024.
Second.
All right, pull the board, please.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes. Thank you. All right, we have no business from the audience. On to Mr. Attorney.
Agenda item 12A is a proposed ordinance 1533 that would amend the city's charter regarding the position of the city clerk. It's entitled an ordinance submitting to the electors of the city of Sebring a proposed amendment to the city of Sebring charter, changing the city clerk position from an elected official to a city employee whose job duties are established by city council, removing the obligation for the city clerk to be a city resident, removing the obligations for the city clerk to serve as tax collector, chief elections officer, and treasurer, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this proposed ordinance? No? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1533 on second and final reading as presented.
Second.
All right, pull the board, please.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes. All right, thank you. Next up.
Agenda item 12B is proposed ordinance 1532 repealing section 23-121 of the city code of ordinances. It's entitled an ordinance repealing section 23-121 of the code of ordinances of the city of Sebring, providing for conflict and providing for an effective date.
All right. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this ordinance? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve Ordinance number 1532 on second and final reading as presented.
All right, call the board, please.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Natelick.
Good evening, council. Agenda item 13A is project report. If any of you have any questions on anything before we get down to the vegetation on Lake Jackson, I'll entertain those. So vegetation on Lake Jackson, I understand that the treatment of vegetation along US 27 has been done. You should start seeing it to brown up, if you will. And then I just want to remind everybody of our workshop on Thursday night at 4:30. That's here in council chambers. Florida Fish and Wildlife will be present to provide a presentation and stand for questions in reference to Illinois Pond.
Santa Rosa, they gone?
I heard just before the meeting that Santa Rosa is down.
Knocked out power for 2 hours this afternoon, so I guess they hit a power line when they're pulling it down.
Okay.
That's sad.
Another
Closing of the history.
Ended on a high note, I guess. All right, Ms. Clerk,
Second.
call the board, please.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes. All right. Good night.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Got the notification there.